There are people who never seem offended, who brush off insults like dust off their shoulders, who stay calm when someone disrespects them, who don't engage when others try to provoke them. From the outside, they look unbothered, confident, maybe even cold or emotionless, and everyone around them has opinions. They have no self-respect. They're doormats. Why don't they stand up for themselves? They let people walk all over them. But if you think people who never feel disrespect are just weak or lacking boundaries, you're completely missing what's actually happening. Because the truth is far more complex and far more powerful. So today we're breaking down the real psychology behind people who never feel disrespected. Let's go deeper. First, let's be clear about what we're talking about. Because there's a difference between genuinely not feeling disrespected and pretending you're not hurt. We're talking about people who hear criticism and don't take it personally, who experience rudeness and don't internalize it, who watch others try to diminish them and remain completely unbothered, who can be insulted to their face and walk away without carrying it. This isn't suppression. This isn't denial. This isn't fake confidence. This is a genuine psychological state where external disrespect simply doesn't land. It bounces off. It doesn't penetrate. It doesn't stick. And psychology has a lot to say about why some people have this quality while others are constantly wounded by how people treat them. Let's start with the most powerful reason. The internally validated. Some people never feel disrespect because their sense of worth comes entirely from within. They know who they are, they know their value, and nothing you say can change that internal knowing. When someone insults them, their brain doesn't go to maybe they're right or what's wrong with me. It goes to, that's an interesting thing for them to say, or they must be having a difficult time. The insult is information about the other person, not a referendum on them. This is what psychologists call an internal locus of control. Your value isn't determined by external feedback. You're not constantly adjusting your self-image based on how others treat you. You have an anchor inside yourself that holds steady regardless of outside weather. Here's what this looks like. Someone calls them incompetent. They know they're competent. So the statement just doesn't compute. It's like someone calling the sky green. You don't get offended. You just think that's factually incorrect and move on. This isn't arrogance. It's stability. They're not better than others. They just don't need others to tell them who they are because they already know. Now let's talk about the second type. The perspective holders. Some people never feel disrespect because they understand that how others treat you says more about them than about you. They have enough emotional intelligence and life experience to see that disrespect is almost always projection. When someone is rude to them, they don't think I'm not worthy of respect. They think this person is struggling, or they're insecure, or they're in pain and taking it out on me. They see the disrespect as a symptom of the other person's internal state, not as truth about their own worth. This is a massive psychological shift. Most people take disrespect personally because they assume it's about them. These people understand it's from the other person. The arrow is coming from them, not pointing at something real about you. Think about it. Happy, secure, fulfilled people don't go around disrespecting others. Disrespect comes from pain, insecurity, fear, or low self-worth in the person giving it. When you understand this deeply, disrespect stops landing because you see it for what it is, someone else's wound expressing itself. They don't take it personally because it literally isn't personal. It's just their pain making contact with your presence. Now the third type, the detached observers. Some people never feel disrespect because they've cultivated emotional detachment, not in an unhealthy dissociative way, but in a mindful philosophical way. They observe interactions without being emotionally entangled in them. When someone disrespects them, they watch it happen. They notice it, but they don't identify with it. There's space between the event and their reaction. They're not their thoughts, they're not their feelings. They're the awareness observing thoughts and feelings. This comes from practices like meditation, mindfulness, or philosophical study. Buddhism, Stoicism, and many wisdom traditions teach this. You are not what happens to you. You are the awareness experiencing what happens to you. So when disrespect occurs, they observe, interesting, this person is attempting to make me feel small. I notice they're using harsh words. I observe that I could feel hurt here, but I choose not to identify with that hurt. I let it pass through. This isn't suppression. Suppression says, I'm hurt, but I'll pretend I'm not. Detachment says, I see the potential for hurt, but I'm not attaching to it. I'm letting it move through without sticking. They're not numb. They're just not clingy. They don't grab onto every emotional invitation the world offers them. The fourth type, the high self-worth people. Some people never feel disrespect because their self-worth is so solid that external treatment simply doesn't threaten it. They love themselves so deeply that your opinion of them is just your opinion, and you're entitled to it. but it doesn't change their reality. This is different from internal validation. Internal validation means you validate yourself. High self-worth means you genuinely believe you're valuable, period. It's not even a question. It's not up for debate. It's settled. When you truly know you're worthy, not intellectually but in your bones, disrespect feels absurd. Like someone trying to convince you that water isn't wet. You're not offended. You're just confused about why they think this would affect you. People with high self-worth aren't defensive because there's nothing to defend. Defense implies something is under threat, but their worth isn't threatened by your opinion of them. Your opinion exists in your reality. Their worth exists in theirs. These are separate universes. And here's the key. They didn't build this self-worth from achievement or external success. They built it from self-acceptance. From knowing their inherent value as a human being isn't tied to performance, appearance, or others' approval, so disrespect doesn't land because there's no wound for it to enter. The door is closed, not defensively, just closed. And then there's the fifth type, the ones who've transcended the need for respect. Some people never feel disrespect because they've realized something profound. The need to be respected is itself a form of suffering, and they've let it go. This is the deepest level. They're not trying to maintain their self-image. They're not protecting their ego. They've actually released attachment to how others see them. They understand that respect and disrespect are both stories we tell ourselves about interactions. And stories are optional. When someone disrespects them, there's no emotional charge because there's no attachment to being respected. They're not offended because offense requires caring deeply about maintaining a certain image or position. And they've stopped caring about that. This doesn't mean they tolerate harmful behavior. They'll set boundaries. They'll remove themselves from toxic situations. But they do it from clarity, not from wounded ego. They're protecting their peace, not defending their image. They've realized if I need everyone to respect me to feel okay, I've given away my power. I've made my peace dependent on others' behavior. That's imprisonment. True freedom is being okay whether you respect me or not. This is what spiritual teachers and philosophers have been pointing at for millennia. Freedom from the opinion of others. Not because you're arrogant, because you're free. So here's what we've learned about people who never feel disrespect. Type 1, the internally validated, know their worth from within, so external feedback doesn't define them. Type 2, the perspective holders, understand that disrespect says more about the person giving it than receiving it. Type 3, the detached observers, have cultivated the ability to watch experiences without being consumed by them. Type 4, the high self-worth people, have such solid self-love that external treatment can't threaten their foundation. Type 5, the transcendent ones, have released attachment to being respected and found freedom in that release. And here's what all 5 types have in common. They're not weak. They're not doormats. They're not lacking self-respect. They've just reached a level of psychological development where other people's behavior doesn't determine their internal state. They have boundaries. They walk away from toxicity. They protect their energy. But they do it from power, not from woundedness. They leave because the environment doesn't serve them, not because their ego was bruised. The paradox is this: the less you need respect, the more you naturally receive it. Because people who are genuinely unbothered by disrespect radiate a calm confidence that actually commands respect. Not because they demand it, because they don't need it. When you stop caring if people respect you, you become unshakable. And unshakable people naturally earn respect. From everyone except the people whose respect isn't worth having anyway. Drop your country or city in the comments. Let's see where you're watching from. Hit subscribe. We go deeper every day. And remember, you don't need thick skin to be unbothered by disrespect. You need clear vision, clear enough to see that disrespect is about them, not you. Clear enough to know your worth doesn't come from their opinion. Clear enough to recognize that freedom lives on the other side of needing everyone to validate you. That's where your power lives. Not in defending yourself from every slight, but in being so solid in who you are that the slights don't even register. That's not weakness, that's mastery.